and especially I would like to express my thanks and gratitude to Mr. Ashok Pandey, the principal of Alcon Public School, and the very distinguished teachers, principals. I'm very honored that I got this opportunity to stay here and share some thoughts, particularly in education. This is the year in which India celebrates 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. So it's extremely important to invoke some of his ideas, which are of enduring significance. And in this context of exploring the realms of education, it's equally important to explore the ideas of Dr. Ambedkar, because across India today, you find pictures of Gandhi and Ambedkar in the mass meetings. Whether you agree or do not agree, the reading of the preamble, display of the pictures of Gandhi and Ambedkar across the country in protest meetings inspires confidence, and it actually invokes the essence of the Constitution, which is the bedrock of governance, which defines the idea of India. Therefore, when we reflect on education in 21st century, it's important to reflect on the ideas of our freedom struggle, which in fact provided a composite outlook and affirmed our identities in Indians beyond any documentary evidence. So it is in this context I would recall one particular text of Mahatma Gandhi, which he wrote in 1922 for school children. And the name of the book is Bal Pothi, the children's book. He wrote a textbook for children in 1922. There are several small chapters. And there is one particular chapter which deserves to be discussed. The name of the chapter was Housework. And in a family there is an imaginary debate. And the debate involves both sister and brother in the family. Sister wanted to study and play and go out. Brother insisted that she should follow mother to learn the lessons of cooking, keeping the house clean, and do household work. Brother told her sister that look at mother, she is doing the housework, cooking food for family, and so on and so forth. So as a girl, she should follow mother. As a boy, he should follow father. And father was going out and earning for the family. But girl was insistent, she refused to submit herself to the dictation of her brother. She said, whatever you are doing, she would do. And in the process, mother intervened. When the fight was intense in the family, among sister and brother, mother intervened, and mother said, my dear son, house belongs to both men and women. And if you are asking your sister to do household work, you should jolly well do that. Household work is also education. By washing utensils or doing household chores, muscles are built up, you use your eyesight, it improves the eyesight, and so on and so forth. It was written by Gandhi in 1922. And today, in the FM Gold channel, we hear an advertisement. Bharadwaj Sahab, aapka beti, Kobol beti kahan hai? Beti bahar gayi hai, daftar gayi hai, daftar mein kaam kar rahi hai, aane ke waqt bazaar se kuch saman kharid ke aa jayegi. Beta kahan hai? Beta rasoi ghar mein. अरे ये क्या कर रखा है? बेटा खाना बना रहा है, बेटी बाहर गई है. नहीं, कुछ नहीं कर रहा हूँ, दोनों को समान अधिकार दे रहा हूँ. I hear this advertisement quite often in FM Gold channel. And when I hear that, I remember Gandhi's textbook Bal Pothi, which he wrote in 1922. And I believe I read an article in Spain in a school. Now boys are being taught how to cook food, because they need to unburden the women or the girls of the household work. So this particular aspect of gender equality at home must be integral to the part of course curriculum. Any school, So this was, this has been stressed. It was stressed by Gandhi in Bal Poti. And Bal Poti has a chapter on exercise. Early morning, a child gets up, she or he has to pray, then do exercises, then work in the field, and all that. It's a remarkable book. I would strongly recommend to all the teachers or principals who are here to have a look at Bal Poti, it's available online in the sense 1922. Go to that volume of Collected Works of Mahatma Gandhi. Bal Poti is available, and it's a highly recommended book. I remember when I was working with President K.R. Narayanan, and Madam Usha Narayanan, wife of President Narayanan, was the first lady that time. She was invited to speak in the UN office in Delhi on International Women's Day. And when she used in her speech the text of Bal Poti and drove home the point that Gandhi wanted gender equality right from domestic sphere, Hindustan Times carried a box item in the front page, Bal Poti. And that was read by Professor Madhu Dandavate. And after reading that news item, Professor Dandavate called me. He said, Mr. Sahu, what is this Bal Poti of Gandhi for school children? I said, sir, yes, he wrote that book. He said, can you send that text of Bal Poti and First Lady's speech? And Professor Dandavate wrote a letter to the then HRD Minister, Mr. Murli Manohar Joshi, asking him to translate Bal Poti to all languages in India and introduce them in the school curriculum. Professor Madhu Dandavate did not get an acknowledgement of the letter even. Somebody, a distinguished awardee, was referring to the politicians very in an indicting manner. So therefore, it's important to reflect this worldview. Another very interesting point was that Mahatma Gandhi wanted music education to be compulsory right from school level. While addressing a meeting in Gandharva Music School in Gujarat, he defined music in a very remarkable manner. He said music meant rhythm, harmony, and order. And he said in Indian life, there's hardly any music because there's no rhythm, no harmony, and order. And then he said, without music, India would not get Swaraj. Gandhi had linked Swaraj to Hindu-Muslim unity, to women's empowerment, to economic equality, to sanitation, to several other factors. But we hardly know that he also linked attainment of Swaraj to music. And in the UK, in 2007, they introduced a national plan for music education. And as early as 1926, Gandhi stressed on music education primarily to affirm the ideals of rhythm, harmony, and order. And therefore, it's important today when music is considered as the soft power of India. Hard power is understood in terms of compulsion, coercion, domination, arm twisting. Military power or economic power are integral to hard power. But soft power is understood in terms of persuasion and attraction, not on compulsion and domination. So India is rich or a superpower in soft power. So soft power must be integral to the syllabus on education at every level. And therefore, what Swami Vivekananda did or what Mahatma Gandhi did, they never arm twisted anybody. They never imposed anything on anybody. And therefore, they persuaded and attracted people towards them. They were the leaders of soft power, which is now being recognized in academias in US. They say that why America is not winning the war in Afghanistan or in Iraq, or why it never won the war in Vietnam. So they only employed hard power, neglecting soft power. The age of war is over, we need to explore soft power. And soft power in terms of our education in terms of soft power is a huge reservoir for empowering youth, for building human resource. And third point I would like to stress on is that in 1917, when Gandhi started his first satyagraha in Champaran, he introduced schools there. And in the writings of Gandhi, I found that he said that there should be no corporal punishment. And today, corporal punishment is almost out from the schools. No teacher, no parent can afford to punish his child, or compel a child, or whatever the punishment is never probably is given now. So in 1917, almost 100 years back, Gandhi talked about absence of corporal punishment in the schools, and then he said that in schools there must be an atmosphere of culture. Schools must represent the cultural values. And today, when market forces determine so much in education, and education is now geared to cater to the market forces or market mechanisms, and therefore there is an absence of cultural elements. And we have such a remarkable, rich and variegated culture. So therefore this aspect also needs to be integrated. Because when there was a meeting when UNESCO was founded, there was a meeting in Delhi in 1947 of the UNESCO branch or something. And Gandhi was asked to issue a message to UNESCO. And he said that in that message, which is a remarkable message, he said the cause of peace can never be advanced without stressing on education and culture. Because UNESCO said that the wars are generated in the minds of men or human beings. So it stressed on education and culture to take forward the cause of peace. And particularly in 21st century, there is a threat to peace because of global warming and climate change, apart from other weapons of mass destruction. Because now it is considered that global warming and climate change are more dangerous than the thermonuclear weapons. The former US Secretary of State, John Kerry, said we need to address the global warming climate change, which is far more dangerous than nuclear weapons. So it is in that context we need to have an education which will stress some cultural component in a much more creative manner. And I would like to say that, my son studied in Springdale School, Madam is here, from Busa Road. And I saw him growing up, with real cultural values which he taught more in school than anywhere else. I'm not trying to promote the cause of one particular school, how culture is important. And therefore Gandhi talked about culture and education in the context of peace. A European scholar, a psychologist, he wrote a book called Abnormal Psychology, forgetting the name of the author. He made a beautiful interpretation of centuries in Europe. He said 17th century was the century of enlightenment, 18th century was the century of reason, 19th century was the century of progress, and 20th century was the century of anxiety. And then 21st century is described as the century of fear. Fear due to global warming, climate change, terrorism, and many other problems. Polarization now. So therefore, how is that humanity descended from century of enlightenment to century of fear? So this is where education is required to address that problem, address this menace. And therefore Gandhi in his Ekadash Vrat 11 vows, he put one vow that fearlessness, Sarvatra Vayavarjana. And therefore in Chennai there is a school, they are administering Putli by oath. There is an article in Hindu. And I was wondering, Putli by oath, Putli Bai was Gandhi's mother. Putli Bai administered oath to Gandhi when he was going to London to pursue his studies on law. And that oath involved, oath mandated Gandhi not to take alcohol, not to touch alcohol, not to look at other women, with a lustful eye, and to keep away from meat, There were 3 oaths Gandhi was administered by his mother, Putli Bai. And today, because of growing alcohol consumption, and particularly among youth, so a school in Chennai has decided, is administering Putli Bai oath. So I think Putli Bai was more, an illiterate lady Putli Bai was more relevant than Gandhi's teachers. So this is the value of our parents, who are the first teachers to us. So these are the points which need to be, I feel, need to be integrated at a time when, India is witnessing huge levels of polarization, and the heartening fact is that we have today Gandhi and Ambedkar's picture being shown in the streets, preamble is being read. So these points need to be integrated in education. Thank you so much for giving me this valuable opportunity to share some thoughts.